Today I'm making one of my favorite holiday casseroles. I'm going to show you how to make cheesy broccoli cheese rice casserole. This is so good. Here we go. To start, I am going to make my rice. In a preheated pan, I've added some cooking oil. Here I have 1.5 cups of rinsed long grain rice going in. And what I'm going to do is toast it over a medium to medium low heat until it becomes aromatic, fragrant, and gets a slightly golden color. Now you can make the rice however you prefer. I like to make it this way. It's kind of like a chicken rice. I'm adding 2 to 3 tablespoons of chopped onion. Again, I'm just going to keep toasting and sauteing things in my pan. You could also work with minute rice. You could make steamed rice, but I love chicken rice for this casserole. Here I have 2 cloves of garlic minced going in as well, and I'm going to quickly saute that. You do not want to work with a high heat, and you do not want to burn your garlic, or you will ruin anything you are cooking if you work with burnt garlic, so be careful. Okay, so now I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoons of chicken bouillon powder. Essentially, if you do not like to use chicken bouillon powder, you could use store-bought or homemade chicken broth in place of the water that I'm going to add. So I'm going to give that a mix. I really don't want to cook the chicken bouillon. I just want to make sure it's combined. So now I'm going to add 3 cups of water. And now I'm just going to quickly mix that. So what I'm going to do now is cover with a lid. And if you are making this, you will want to bring it up to a boil. And once it's like this, I am going to lower the heat and let it continue cooking with the lid on. Do not lift the lid for about 15 to 18 minutes. So let's go over the cheeses and other ingredients. So I'm working with an 8-ounce block of Velveeta. It is American processed cheese. Yes, I just think it works in this recipe. Here I have 8 ounces of sharp cheddar. I'm also going to be using a 10.5 ounce can of condensed cream of mushroom soup. And I will use this can and fill it twice with whole milk. That's about 21 ounces, fluid ounces. I'm also going to be working with 1 pound of chopped broccoli. This was frozen broccoli that I thawed and rinsed. And let's put it together. So my rice should be done, and I'm going to keep the lid on and let it set for about 10 minutes. In the meantime, I've prepped my ingredients. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and just kind of move the rice, fluff it up, and it came out perfectly. And even if you don't make this casserole, you could make chicken rice for your dinner. It's really good. It's an easy recipe. Okay, so once this is all mixed, and it's still warm, by the way, it's still hot. Now I'm going to add my broccoli, and I'm going to give it a mix. So if you are using fresh broccoli, my suggestion is to blanch your fresh broccoli first before substituting it in this recipe. But I typically keep frozen vegetables in the freezer, so frozen broccoli it is. But like I said, there are some things you could substitute in this recipe. For example, like I stated earlier, chicken broth instead of the chicken bouillon powder. Okay, so now I'm going to add my cream of mushroom soup, and I'm going to scrape that out of the can. And I will be adding the 2 cans of whole milk. If you have half and half, that's extra creamy. You could use that as well. And I also want to mention, for those of you looking for holiday casseroles or just recipes in general, on my YouTube channel, Simply Mamá Cooks, I have a playlist with holiday recipes that you can check out just to peruse and see if anything gives you an idea or helps you with what you will be serving this holiday season. Okay, so now going in with my cheese that I cut into small chunks. And I also want to mention, because I'm sure some of you who make this are wondering, I could essentially warm through the condensed mushroom soup, milk, and cheeses to make them blend and creamy and melty, but this is how I make it. My family likes the little chunks of cheese dispersed throughout the casserole. It's a preference, but you definitely can melt the cheeses and condensed soup first. Now I'm just going to start combining everything together. And for those of you that follow me on other social media platforms, I had to start another Facebook page. I will link that in the description if you're on Facebook and, want to save my recipes. I had to create another page because there's so many fake pages that have emerged, so hopefully you follow the right one. Okay, so what I'm doing here is adding that second can of milk right in, and now I'm going to put that lid back in the can so when I toss it in the garbage, no one gets cut. So that's a good little tip there. So give everything a really good mix, and now is a good time to taste it for salt and seasoning and adjust to your preference. In a buttered 12 by 8 or 8 by 12 baking dish, I'm going to pour my rice, cheese, broccoli mixture in, and you'll see later how I pushed the limit of an 8 by 12 baking dish. Typically it works, but today it kind of bubbled over, so if you're doing this, just put a baking sheet under the baking dish before you put it in the oven. So once that's all spread out evenly, I'm going to top it with the rest of my cheese. And you could add more cheese and combine it and fold it into the rice mixture, but I really like a cheese crust, much like macaroni and cheese when you bake it in the oven. By the way, comment down below what your favorite holiday casseroles are. I have so many, let's be honest. Okay, so I'm going to shake on a little bit of seasoning blend. You can go with paprika, smoked paprika, garnish how you like. This is what I'm doing today. And I'm going to bake this uncovered in a preheated oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 to 35 minutes. So it has been 35 minutes. As you can see, I had to put that baking sheet underneath, but it looks amazing, and it's bubbly, melty, cheesy, delicious, creamy broccoli cheese rice casserole. Yeah, that's a mouthful. So just remove it carefully from the oven. And this is kind of like the hardest part. You're going to have to let it set for about 10 to 15 minutes before serving. But honestly, I don't think I can wait that long, so I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So I'm going to dive right in. And for those of you that would like to make this recipe along with your holiday meals, this recipe makes about 8 to 10 single servings. Well, it also depends on how much each person is serving themselves, but check this out. It's just creamy, cheesy deliciousness. So I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.